2021's almost upon us, and in the face of the uncertainties of the new year, we at least have anime to keep us entertained. If you're one of the people still looking for something to watch in the upcoming season, then I've got a treat for you today. Today we're going through 10 of the most anticipated new anime this winter 2021. Perhaps I can help you get started with your to-watch list with this list. Perhaps you can find something to recommend to your best friends and buddies. I don't want to keep you waiting anymore, so let's get to it. Starting off things we take a look at, Back Arrow. Back Arrow is an interesting show. It's the next TV anime for the Code Geass director, and it's an anime original mecha series set to premiere this January. You also get these big names joining the party, like people involved in series such as Kill La Kill and Magi. As for its story, well, it's set in a world surrounded by walls. Giving it protection, the wall pretty much serves as the god that serves as the foundation of Ringo. However, things change when some amnestic guy named Back Arrow appears in the outskirts, claiming that he's come from beyond the wall. Thus, he heads out to fight to restore his memories. Oh, and by the way, this protagonist is voiced by Yuki Kaji. Doesn't that remind you of something? I'm pretty sure that the last few people who still do so would have stopped putting stock on big names being attached to a project ever since the glorious mess that is GBH. But, I'm not gonna lie, Back Arrow looks pretty cool. Will it cause the resurgence of the mecha genre back into the mainstream? I mean, I personally doubt it, but it would probably be a cool, underrated show to follow. How's Haikyuu holding up for you? If you've been absolutely hooked to it, I present to you an ample follow-up. 243 Seiin High School Boys Volleyball Club. This is a volleyball anime centered on Gimichika Hajima. Moving back to his hometown after some troubles in a Tokyo volleyball club, he finds himself reunited with his childhood friend Yuni Kuroba. Turns out that him and said childhood friend form the perfect volleyball duo. Together they enroll in Seiin High, and with the duo's entry, the school's volleyball club breaks out and begins the journey to be the next big thing in town. In contrast to what we've come to expect from our sports anime, this one seems to be more relaxed and serious. The manga's officially listed as a josei series, and you can expect the hyped action sequences to take a backseat to more drama and character development. That's not to say that the show's not exciting, it's just that it's got a different approach to a sports anime, and if you like that kind of approach, then this could be the show for you. Let's move on to the next one now. Low-tier character Tomoezaki Kun. Life is a game. Such a common statement and such a good example of a phrase you can slap onto your light novel hero to make him seem smart. Our star today, Fumiya Tomoezaki, is one such character. One of the best gamers in Japan, Tomoezaki finds himself doing what gamer protagonists do. Think of the rules and boundaries of real life as the worst possible thing. No clear-cut routes to victory, horrible balance, so irrational, all in a bad game. 0 out of 10. However, some other person thinks the opposite, and surprise surprise, it's a fellow gamer in the form of everyone's idol, Hinami. Perhaps this girl's cracked the code, moving on and getting ahead in life, and she intends to teach Tomoezaki every bit of it. Yep, it's one of those life coaching light novel adaptations with a brooding, unsociable protagonist. I'm not sure what I can really compare it to for a one-on-one comparison, but it certainly gives us some strong snafu vibes. Expect a lot of comedic routines whipped with a dash of drama in this tale of self-development and growth. We proceed with Redo of Healer. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to RPG classes, which is the most powerful one? Could it perhaps be the healer, the one who has control over who gets to live or not? I mean, I personally agree, and it's not just because I like playing cleric characters in tabletop campaigns. Guess what? It's open season again for revenge titles, and following the trail that Shield Hero broke open onto the mainstream is Redo of Healer. So after being exploited again and again by others, Gyaru finds out the true potential of the healer class. The problem is, he gets it too little too late, and he could only lament what could have been. Not. Giving up is for losers, and Gyaru decides to cast healing magic on the world in order to move everything back 4 years into the past. Armed with newfound knowledge of his potential, he sets off to redo everything and become the strongest being in the universe. I already mentioned that Redo of Healer is a revenge title like Shield Hero, but what I forgot to mention a while ago is the fearless prediction that this would be the popcorn anime of the season. Popcorn not in the sense that it's a turn your brains off entertainment, although that counts, but more of how it's going to be the talk of the town for all the controversies. It's probably even more edgier than Ari Fureta and Shield Hero combined, and that's quite something. Everyone's at the edge of their seats looking to see how this series will unfold in January. Skate the Infinity comes in next on our list. Come to think of it, we haven't had an anime about skating, right? Well, now we do. In this series, we follow Reiki, a skater who finds himself knee-deep in the latest craze in town, the addictive and extreme sport S. The sport isn't for the faint-hearted, for it's such a dangerous activity that it has to be kept a secret with its explosive battles that come along with the races. Finding a new prospect in the form of unassuming transfer student Langa, Reiki decides to take him into the world of extreme sports despite the former having no skateboarding experience. What awaits the duo in this thrilling and dangerous world of S? Skate the Infinity sure comes with a very interesting and unique premise that I'm sure the most common anime fans can find engaging. Given that it's being done by Bones, I expect nothing but top-notch quality out of this anime original series. Make sure to give this a shot when the new season rolls around. Netflix presents our next entry on the list, Highrise Invasion. Now here's an anime that I've personally been looking forward to, having binged the manga because I enjoyed it so much. Now what is Highrise Invasion about? Imagine being isekai'd out of nowhere, but instead of landing in a generic JRPG land number 31245, you find yourself in a world of skyscrapers. Oh, and everyone's out to kill you too, and they're all wearing these creepy smiling masks. It's a death game of survival, and you've got nothing but your wits to help you. Such is the plight of Yuri Honjo, who finds herself in such a tense predicament. Seeing a brutal murder in front of you isn't the best welcome to this new world, but carrying the goal of finding her lost brother here, Yuri resolves to not give up and survive the maddening realm. Now, as I've said, I've read the manga, and I think this is one of the better survival series out there and is way overdue for an anime adaptation. I loved how it juggles genres and does some shifts from survival to full-on battle shonen, and if you're a fan of such shows and want a cute girl leading the charge, make sure to check out Highrise Invasion. Next in line is Kimono Gion. The time's ripe for a supernatural action series, and joining the fray is Kimono Gion, a new rising star courtesy of Jump SQ. For those keeping track, it's where some beloved series like Seraph of the End and Moriarty the Patriot came to be. When dead animals mysteriously start appearing in a village, who do you call? Top supernatural specialist Gohachi Inugami, of course. However, he arrives to the scene not to find the culprit behind it all, but a boy named Gabane who befriends him. Working together to solve the case, the two may have become the perfect combination, but Gabane might not be who he seems at first glance. It seems that Jujutsu Kaisen had opened up the floodgates to the resurgence of the Jump supernatural action series, and I'll be very much looking forward to Kimono Gion. If the current feedback on the source material is anything to go by, this one is going to be a treat to see. As we move on to the top 3, it's time to start bringing back the isekais in with So I'm a Spider, So What? We've seen someone reincarnated into a slime already, so why not a spider? Reaching godhood, as isekai leads have done before, is probably easier as a spider than starting off as slime, right? Well, not quite. For one, our protagonist here has to fight for survival, because when you're a lowly spider that everyone can't seem to wait to squish, the difficulty of it all gets turned up to 11. Our protagonist here would need every bit of luck and determination in order to make it out alive, but luckily, that's exactly what she has. Thus, the journey to become the strongest spider in a fantasy world begins. The hit light novel's been getting quite a lot of traction, and it's about time that we finally get a nice anime adaptation to introduce newcomers to this interesting world. I found the story to be quite engaging, and I can see why it gets quite the hype that it's got, and taking a look at the first few episodes might answer your questions on why it's so. Our second most anticipated new show of winter 2021 is, to no one's surprise, Mushoku Tensei. Between the two isekai titles on the list, well, 3 if you count Highrise Invasion, I doubt that there's anything that can eclipse the hype for Mushoku Tensei as far as this season's concerned. The series has gone out and earned a lot of goodwill from its fanbase, the very same fanbase that can't wait to see one of their favorite light novels being brought to life in the form of an anime adaptation. Mushoku Tensei starts off with the isekai thing, you know the drill, and shoots its protagonist into the new world in the form of a kid. The thing is, we know that in stories like this, the human child is probably the most powerful being, carrying modern-day genius in the form that has limitless potential for growth. Knights and Magic already taught us this. Thus, as the newly christened Rudius Grey Rat, our protagonist begins his journey to conquer this world while getting over some regrets carried over from his past life. Overall, it's an interesting series that prides itself on its characters and setting. If you're curious as to why everyone's going crazy over Mushoku Tensei, maybe putting this on your to-watch list can help do the trick. Despite the power of the isekai train, the #1 hype show this upcoming season has to be something in a completely different genre. It's Horimia. They say that opposites attract, but I beg to differ. A relationship wherein two people are just so different just doesn't work out in my opinion. I think that a more accurate way to go about that statement is to instead turn the focus on two people who complement each other. And that's exactly what we get in this much-awaited rom-com Horimia. I wouldn't say that brooding Izumi and upbeat Kyoko are complete opposites, but a chance meeting leads them to opening up to one another. Knowing each other's hidden sides, we then see that they're actually pretty damn good complements to each other. This is the story of a blooming relationship that revolves around two people knowing more and completing each other, and it comes with its fair share of twists and turns. It's funny, right, isn't it? At first glance, Horimia seems quite plain and generic for a rom-com, and admittedly I had those sentiments until I read the source material. Trust me, this isn't your everyday rom-com, and the two characters just have such a good chemistry that I couldn't stop reading. In terms of hype and scope of people watching it, well, I don't think that anything compares to it. I'm pretty positive that Horimia will carry that positive momentum for a great finish once this season is done. Now with that, I'm done with this list. I want to know yours. What do you think would be the biggest hit of the season? How about a sleeper hit? You know, there's nothing more that I like than engaging in conversation with you. Don't forget to leave a comment before you leave. Oh, and please don't forget to give a like and subscribe too. That's got to do it for now. See you next time.